Thank you for joining us on this edition of American Medicine Today. I'm with my friend Ethan Euchre.
Glad to be here. How are you, Kimberly?
Doing good, but I am so sick of this social distancing.
I think we all are.
In the current age of social distancing, we are all doing our best to stay safe. But our next guest says the most important coronavirus solution not being discussed is sugar distancing. Please welcome Eli Glaser to the show. He's a certified nutritionist, executive wellness coach, and creator of the Sovea weight loss solution. Thank you for joining us, Eli.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, Eli, let's start with your own personal journey. You were once very overweight, correct?
Yes, I'm a survivor of morbid obesity. I used to weigh 130 pounds more than I am now.
And what led you to I guess, be so overweight? And also to sort of add on to that question, why do you think Americans in general nowadays are so unhealthy?
About 18 years ago, a person came to me and said this statement that really transformed my life. He said, Eli, you don't have a weight problem, you have a food problem. Now, I thought I had a weight problem because I was morbidly obese. I'm 5'11", I weigh 300 pounds. And I was on that roller coaster of dieting and losing weight, gaining weight, keto, paleo, Atkins, Weight Watchers, until he said you got to stop focusing on changing your weight, your body size, and start focusing on changing yourself and your relationship with food. I and so many people are really actually undernourishing ourselves. I was skipping breakfast, grabbing a little something here or there on the go, and making up for it with unhealthy eating later in the day or at night. So,
is that what caused you to then come up with your own weight loss system?
Yes. So through my experience and the direction that I had from people who had similar success, it's the 3 H's I call it. You have to change your head, your heart, and your hands. Those are the 3 target areas of change. How we think about food, the role that food plays in our life, how we feel about food, our emotional dependence on indulgence, on using food for comfort, and how we handle food on a daily basis, having a responsible and a robust food plan.
Now, how long did it take you to lose that amount of weight? Because that's substantial.
So I lost the first 110 pounds in 11 months. So when you really going away from a fad diet but having what I call a robust and responsible food plan, you actually lose more weight consistently over a period of time. It really is a marathon. It's not a sprint.
Sure.
And the last 20 pounds I lost really, it was a few years later when I made a couple of different changes to my food plan. I started exercising and running. The first 110 pounds I lost, those 11 months, averaging 10 pounds a month, I didn't do any exercise at all.
Yeah, I was going to ask you how much, because obviously you lost the weight before you came up with the Sovea program itself. So do you incorporate exercise at all in your program?
Well, I definitely encourage people to exercise. Again, I'm a marathon runner now, so I think exercise is critically important for overall physical health and mental health, and it can maximize your metabolism and your efficiency burning calories. But there's a big misconception that exists that diet and weight loss are equal. Diet and exercise are equally responsible for weight loss, and that's not true. You can't work your way out of a bad diet.
And you incorporate psychology within your program, correct?
Yes, I'm not a psychologist or a licensed social worker, but a lot of it is the psychology of eating and the psychology of weight loss and prioritizing ourselves. It's okay for us to extend ourselves, but if we sacrifice ourselves, that's the problem. And a lot of people are sacrificing themselves, and they have to change their mindset of, well, what do I need to do for myself, for my health? And a lot of times you try to just make up, whether it's energy drinks or coffee, or try to the Band-Aid approach to eating, to health, or to weight loss. We have to be willing to say, no, I got to engage in a long-term solution, and that's what's going to give me my long-term success.
So let's talk about the program itself, Eli. What are the nuts and bolts of the Sovea solution, and what differentiates it from the thousands of other diets out there?
A person needs a customized food plan to take into account what their station of life is, how much weight they have to lose, what their activity level is, what certain medical issues they have. So when I work one-on-one with my clients, I customize that and tease it out based on the interview. And what we created over the last year, which is really taken the whole industry by storm, is we created an online home study course called the Sovea Solution Signature Series. And I created a special algorithm that a person will fill out an assessment form, and that will generate a customized food plan for them. So they can, if they want to do the home study course, they will also be able to get a customized food plan. So that's one element of it. And the second element of, I think, what makes our program unique and successful is that we walk them through this process of change, because change is uncomfortable for all of us.
I think a lot of the problem with Americans and obesity is a financial thing, really, and our society and our way of life. It's go, 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 go. We don't have time to eat. What do? We go to the drive-through.
If you look at the numbers, it actually on the long term and even the midterm, it's less expensive to have a healthy relationship with food and eat healthy consistently. Certainly medical costs, prescription costs, and even the cost of food itself. If you're just starting out with fruits and vegetables and grains, and if it's not organic, that's still a quantum leap ahead of what you were eating before. So organic doesn't have to be the first step a person has to take, especially if they have certain financial, limitations.
They need to change their mindset, though, because people want instant results. I start the diet, I want to drop 5 to 10 pounds immediate, and that's not very realistic.
Exactly. And they can do that if they starve themselves, but that's not sustainable. The 3 A's of successful coaching are accountability, advocacy, and action. So you have to find an action plan for someone, have to hold them accountable, but also like a life coach, you want to provide, advocacy for them, to advocate for your needs, to help you, Kimberly and Ethan and whoever I'm working with, that your needs, your self-health and your care through proper nutrition is the most important priority of your day.
Can you share some of your amazing success stories with us briefly?
So I had a client who actually lived in Israel and was in America, and through a series of circumstances, a broken engagement, gained over 100 pounds. He was already very heavy, but he was over 400 pounds, and he was actually in a nursing home, and he was bedridden. He couldn't move, and he couldn't go back because he couldn't get a plane ticket back to his home. So there was someone who was volunteering to meet with him, and was actually a client of mine who had success and contacted me. I started working with this person, and thankfully they lost over 100 pounds and was able to be mobile and get a plane ticket and get back home, where otherwise they would have just been stuck in this nursing home in Pennsylvania for who knows how long.
That's terrible. I mean, great news that you were able to help them, but what a terrible situation.
I mean, obesity has been a national medical emergency for many years now. With COVID-19, it just brought it in such acute, focus, because the number one comorbidity causing intensive care admissions and deaths for COVID patients under 60 was obesity and the corresponding consequences of diabetes and heart disease.
And Ellie, I understand that you have a new book out as well, right? Can you tell us about that?
Sure. It's called Enough is Enough, How the Survey Solution is Revolutionizing the Diet and Weight Loss World, and explain the 15 years of my personal story and working with clients, and it kind of walks a person through the understanding and also the practical application of how to change their, eating habits. But I try to do it in an engaging way, in a humorous way, because it's an uncomfortable topic and it's difficult for someone to think about themselves and have that self, confidence to be able to take those steps.
And you were very dedicated, because that takes a tremendous amount of dedication.
No, we can all access that self-care and self-love to do the things that we need. And it's not as hard as we think. We want to be fueled by facts, not paralyzed by perception.
Well, we appreciate you joining us, Eli Glaser with Surveya Weight Loss Solutions. Thank you for sharing your story and helping Americans lose some of that weight.
Thanks. I appreciate the time.